So now I want to show how you might be able to use a different technique of moulage in a way that you can pre-set up your wound so that then you can go ahead and use it for a student not being in such a rush that you have to do all of them at the same time. So using just simple moleskin, and obviously you know that this is going to be sticky, it's going to be easy to adhere to the skin. And then you just get the wound ready on the skin. And some of the things that you might need are some different colors of paint, just some regular glue. You could use tissue, you could use web roll, you could use some cotton balls, glue, and again, some Halloween paint or some regular makeup. So as an example, I've already cut it into a bit of an oval. I can go around with my hot glue gun along the edge, and that's going to give it some depth. So if you want your students to measure a wound, you can go ahead and that will give them something that they can actually measure. You can go around more than one time if you want to do that. I'm just going to go around once for you all to see that, and then you're going to need to let that dry. I've already done one, and it's dry, so you can see how now I could take some paint to color the inside. Maybe I want to make it some good granulation tissue. Sometimes I might add a little bit more paint, and with the moleskin as it gets wet, sometimes it actually gives the appearance of a little bit of granulation. Give it a little bit of depth. You could also add some other colors. Maybe there's different parts of the wound that have some other kind of tissue. And then certainly you can paint that glue itself depending on the color. Maybe you choose to have a darker skin. And what I often will do is literally, if it's for the competency or something, I will consider who my patients are going to be, and then I'm going to color it according to their skin color. So to get a bunch of these done, you might consider having a little bit of a wound making party. Now students can do this too, and sometimes it's a great idea for them to work on the characteristics of different wounds. Now for the tissue, what you might do is use just regular glue, a bunch of glue on the tissue, right? And then that wet tissue, you could do straight on just a plain piece to give it a little bit of depth. And here I have one that I've sort of done. You can see that it's still wet. When it's still wet, then you can also sort of open up a wound, and you can see there's a bit of depth to it. Now this outer portion, then you can either paint or you can use some kind of a foundation type makeup, and then the inside you can also use the paint, or you can use makeup, the Halloween makeup. You can see I've done a little bit of an example here. This is just again with paint.